Good afternoon. Welcome to Options Tenor. It is Friday. Welcome, everybody. What a heck of a day. Was not expecting that to gap down like that, but that's what we planned for. Kept on some hedges, and I took those hedges off, and I'll show you why. We'll go through SPY on multiple time frames as usual, and then we'll go around the horn. With the Qs, we'll go the daily and the 65, and then we'll do IWM, DIA, and the VIX. Check to see what those are up to. We're doing this intraday around 1:40 Eastern Standard Time. If you want these videos during the day, consider becoming a YouTube member, a supporter for 99 cents. All right, let's jump into it. We have SPY on the monthly time frame, 2000 top, 2021 top, and forming a top here. Could this be over? Yes. Do I suspect we get a new high or another doji? I'm thinking we're going to have some sort of reversal doji here. I'm still looking for that, and I'll show you why as we go through the lower time frames. Right now, we had this consolidation area. We're going to backtest that. We're just about at that area now. There's a little bit of room to go there if it needs to, maybe 525, 527 or so. We might have just a touch more. Maybe that happens on Monday. Going into, we'll show some strength or so. We have some calls out to the 16th. To the 23rd, we're swinging this. We're long on the futures and all accounts. So no more hedges from the Qs on the downside now that we're into support. So we're still above the 8 EMA. Do we come? I don't think we actually come to test that yet. We're still in a bullish posture, but we're well into resistance, and we'll go from there. So let's go down to the weekly. And by the way, if you're new here, if you want to just zoom through these, and just something I learned was to speed up the video, 1.25, 1.5. You know, we're all limited on time, and I respect your time, but I have to go through this fairly thoroughly for those that are learning. So we're drawing this channel here. Super important trend indicators, the 20-week moving average. We're at that right now, so that's why I think we're getting a some sort of reaction off of it. Do we dip underneath it? Sure, we can dip underneath. But this I do think is going to hold. We have good volume here. We're at a volume node now, and then we have great support / resistance, former resistance at the 520, about 525, 526 that we were talking about on the monthly time frame. But if we stop at this point today, I wouldn't be surprised. It's this is our trend. It's our trend indicator to the upside for the weekly. We're underneath that 8 EMA, so it's going to take a little bit of process to gather that momentum again and form some structure. Very similar to this coming into the 8, got some rejection, and then a nice wick back over it, and then the market was able to gain momentum on top. On the bearish side, is we hit our targets already. I just think we're going to retest this target, whether it might be in the beginning of September or so. That's our only spot here on the weekly time frame that we have a time reference. So when we come into the 1st of September, the week of, we'll see where price is at that time. And this retracement here was a retracement from the 2021 correction. And then you have retracements on the way up. After the 100%, we have a big target at 127, and then the last target at 162. We hit those. So do I think this move is finished? Possibly. We're getting a nice reaction off it. We should get some sort of retracement at minimum, and then head lower from there. Let's go to the daily time frame. On the daily, first, the traditional technical analysis, we have the wedge that we filled out. I removed the secondary line that I had there going up here. This is the wedge and how it looks, and it worked out really perfect. If we go back to that low here and wicked underneath, you can really kind of see what happened with this play here. We broke down from the wedge, had a back test, even wicked through it, and that's at the 20 moving average, the simple moving average, the trend indicator on the daily. So the trend is down, but we're coming into support, so we have to be careful about getting short. I would not get short at this point. Back test and then a breakdown. Now we're in the 100-day simple moving average, and then you see our next support here around 520, maybe 524 or so. Anywhere within this range, we have some volume here. So I'd say at the lowest point, we'll get to this 524 area. But reacting right now, and unless we get a reversal doji, we could have one more low, and I'll show you on the 65. In our Elliott wave here, we do have a time reference here, 8.5. So maybe that's on Monday. That's where we get our low. If price doesn't want to go any lower today, we can gap down, gap and go, gap and crap, I should say, in the opposite direction. That could be our bottom going into Monday with the time reference here in the 8.5. And I do suspect we get our high in one of these clusters coming up. So we'll talk about those as price goes there. It's going to take some time to build some momentum, get back above the 50, the 8. We're going to have to build structure, very similar to how structure was built here before you got your spring out of a breakout into like a wave 3 type action. Let's go ahead and flip over to the Qs so we can see. Now, this is what I was talking about with the tail that wags a dog there. So we have our trend line from the bottom here, and we're into that right now. So wherever I move it to, just trying to catch this wick here. We're right at it, and we're also at this beautiful support area that we talked about in the past. I wasn't sure if we were going to get there, but we gapped down right into it, and this is a beautiful resistance, and then support. We're back at it, also confluence with the trend line. So is it possible that the move is done? Perhaps we get another wick down, or maybe we diverge and tech starts to move up while the market has one more little move. And when I talk about move down, I'm just talking about just a little micro type move here. So let's go around the horn on the 65. On a 65 minute, first the traditional, I took off that trend line. It was getting in the way of what I was trying to do earlier. So let me put a line here just so we can see what was going on. I'll put it back to where we left it there. Had our back test and broke down. Move back a little bit. Okay, so we have support here. We reacted off of that support. If we decide to go lower, then I just drew a potential channel here that would be in confluence here with the 524 low here in the former high there. So yes, price can still drift down there. Maybe it's the DIA or IWM that drags it down while the Qs stay, but the low can be in. You can't really tell what's going on in this move here. If I had to guess, it looks like a 1, 2, 3, and then 4, some sort of 4 in here, and then a 5 going into our time reference. We have a time reference that we're labeling here, and that's 8.6. So that's Tuesday going into Monday or Tuesday. Maybe we have another low, and that would satisfy the time relationship that we were talking about throughout this week in the past videos. Like I said yesterday, I honestly thought we were going to do this in a different way. We had our lows. We bought the low here. I left on half the amount of hedges that I had, and clearly we got a pie in the face, and then took off the hedges in the going into lows here. And we'll see. I'm not worried about any price action that goes down there. I have plenty of time, and I'll probably just add on to my position as price goes down here. I know a lot of people don't like that, but I don't mind adding on to positions like that. So here we are, and looking at the MACD, it has a new low here. So that in itself tells me this possibly needs to go lower and create a divergence here. We already have a divergence on the RSI, and the slow stoch is getting to the point where it wants to cross. It could oscillate a little bit, just like this one, and it could create its own divergence there, and we'll look for the buy signal above the 20. All right, and maybe DMARC. So we're getting our DMARC low signal, buy signal, and that's a good sign for us to go long here as well. It doesn't have to go any lower, but price can indicate a reversal is coming, but price can actually go a little bit lower after this indicator and then move here. It doesn't have to. You see this is a clear buy signal there, buy signal there. So even the 13 went just a little bit lower and then back up. So these are definitely good signs that bottom could be in, but we do have a time reference going into Monday and Tuesday. Now let's go to the Qs. We have an Elliott wave. Hold on. Let's go to this board first. Okay, so this is what this is what we're looking for. Here's the test of those former highs. So that's that 524 area. Here's what we were looking at before. We got our rejection off of that 62% retracement. That was huge. And what I was talking about was, okay, well, how are we going to count this? We looked like we had our ABC. Okay, so we were looking for, I thought that was a good low there. We had a trend line here from the bottom going across here. And so this was my primary thought, that we're going to go to new highs after this low here. And then I had this secondary position here, scenario that we're going, and both these we're looking into the time reference of about 8.5 and over here at 8.7 as well. So these were my projections, and we clearly played out this projection here. Could we go a little bit lower? Yeah, again, we have that former high here. So we have about 5 points or so that we could go lower around that range. And after that, now we have to change our new projection here. And I'll just keep this one here just for reference. So we could still possibly go lower into this time pocket here that we have 8.5 all the way to 8.7 here. And then we'll get some sort of, I'll put it from this point, but clearly, you know, it could go lower, and we'll just adjust it like that. But at that point, then we'll start this count over. And that's what I talked about yesterday. I thought this might have been a ending diagonal 1, a 3-wave move. So now we have a new 1 that we have to get, and then start some structure here for wave 2. And these are not where I'm projecting. It's just a placeholder, and we should get wave 3. Now at this point, momentum should be waning, so I'm still keeping an open mind for an ending diagonal for this move. But it truly could just be an impulsive move. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be. I just suspect that the Qs, because you have an impulse move to the downside, that they're going to get a lower high. And this appears to be an A, B, C. We have a 3-wave move down, a nice large retracement, and then an impulse move down for wave C. So that leads me to believe this is corrective. We should eke out a new high, but not very impulsive in my opinion, just because the tech market is going to hold things down a bit, and it will look very similar. It'll look corrective, but the SPY should make a new high, and that would be definition of an ending diagonal. Three waves up for 1, 3 wave down for 2, and still wave 3 should be the longest in this scenario. A nice 3 wave up, 3, 4, and 5 to get a new high. Let's look at the Qs. So we have a low here, and that goes all the way back to the bottom in 2022 bottom, and our low here. And so this worked out very well as a 5-wave impulse move to the downside, right into our target. The tail that wags the dog. So Qs are already at its target, trend line, support. Can it dip underneath? I mean, it's possible, but it looks like it's done here. It does still look like a 1, 2, 3, but there could be anything in this. There could be a really small 1, 2 here. It's an impulse move. You can't really tell what's going on in there. So that's all speculative, just saying what's there. But overall, we are holding trend. We're at the trend line. We're going long. And this scenario, we should see. So this is the projections that I was looking at yesterday. And I thought we were going to go up from here and start to correct. And looking to an ABC up here. But now that we did the downside projection right into the target, now we're looking for a nice sort of A into whatever area we go. It's going to be impulse move. Likely it's going to be, it can be a flat pattern if it needs to waste time and kind of mimic SPY, but it's very common. It's a lot more common for a wave 2 to be a zigzag. So we'll be very careful about that. And, I thought this was going to take a lot longer to get down there. Clearly it only took 2 days there. So now I'll just go ahead and put our projection from here. And in a zigzag form, we should have an A, a B, a corrective move, and then a C. And I think this is going to be a nice big move, possibly even to close this gap up here at the 887. The reason is because SPY is going to drag this up a little bit. If SPY is going to get a new high, the Qs are probably going to show us, make everybody bullish, get above the 786, or maybe it stops here. I'm pretty sure we'll get up to the 786. If we get up any further, that's all speculative at that point. Well, all of this is the projection, right? But I will be taking off most of my trades. I'll take some off at the 62, and then most of them off at the 786. And any runners or anything, those will just be at that point. I'll be reversing my mind frame, and I'll have a longer term puts at this point. I'll start layering in some puts, swings, and keeping some near term call options to hedge those puts. But right now it's the exact opposite. I'm going long. I had hedges because I had changed my mind frame. I was going long here, had hedges, and now I'm already at the target. I don't think it's going to go much lower. Even if it does, I'm going to add onto my position to the long side. So that's how I trade. You have to adjust to how you trade. But I'm all calls right now and looking for a nice deep retracement. IWM, huge rip down here. Now we're just back testing the breakout, so I do suspect that even the small caps going into earnings are going to retrace somewhat. Okay, and that should allow the market to move up as well. Are we going to get another move to the upside, even higher? It's possible. It's definitely possible that this could be some sort of setup. 1, 2, these are each higher lows, and we have a higher low here as well. So we'll see. I'm not sure that's the case, but it's, maybe this has one more ending diagonal. Maybe this 3-wave move up 3-wave move up, and anything's possible. I would think this high is in, but we'll see how that goes. I'm not going to be playing the IWM. DIA, it's back at a support. This could be a pretty weak one here. And again, this looks like a 3-wave move down, so it's possible, you know, this could be a 1-2-1-2 setup, or it could get new highs. Again, I'm not playing DIA, but we'll have to watch these to see what's holding on to the market. If it's going to make a new high, what's helping the market go to the upside. So VIX, this bad boy broke out, ripped to the upside. Start off with the daily. This daily time frame broke out from that wedge I was talking about, and I think as the market goes to retrace and or make a new high, this is going to back test this channel or wedge, and just from there go much higher. But I think this is done. We're into good resistance here. I wasn't expecting this to happen so soon, but you see these wicks. We have good wicks here. We're into resistance. Usually round numbers are good, and so this is at 28. It doesn't matter because it's wicking. 28, 29. You could put that as a whole zone, but I like that 28 because it touches a few more wicks. And at this point on how that was moving so rapidly, I mean, this whole zone could be drawn in. But again, I suspect this will back test, not in a straight line, and allow the market to move to the upside after that. But I don't think we're going to hit anything in here anymore. I think we're very bearish. We have this wedge. I'll even go to the weekly on this one. You can see the wedge that we have drawn out. Beautiful, beautiful bullish falling wedge. As soon as we broke out from there, you know, that was over. Now we're over the 200 week everything. I think we back test all of this over time, and it, you know, could get lengthy depending on how fast it comes down. Maybe good support area from those previous lows here. Maybe back test really fast to this 16 area. And by fast, I mean, you know, 3-4 weeks and 2 months tops. And back test here while the market goes up. All right, that's what I got for you guys. We did a members video earlier today for both sets of members, supporters and members, just so they could get a taste of what I think is only $3 or so. I don't remember, $5 for trade ideas, alerts, and videos. So, all right, have a wonderful day, you guys. Have a great weekend. See you soon.